The political fight over vote chori now seems to have taken a sinister turn, trying to get into focus the Yuva, the Gen Z of our country. After his press conference yesterday alleging that votes were being added and deleted rampantly across the country, Rahul Gandhi put out a tweet late last evening. The tweet in itself seemed quite innocent. It exhorted people of India to save the constitution and stop this vote chori. But two words in that appeal have raised the BJP's hackles: Gen Z. And that's because the BJP says that this appeal to Gen Z, along with Yuva and students to fight and save the constitution, is nothing less than a call to anarchy, a direct reference to what happened in Nepal, because it's the Gen Z in Nepal that had taken to the streets. Rahul Gandhi, they say, is trying to nudge India's Gen Z to replicate the chaos that we saw in Nepal in our own country. But this invocation of India's Gen Z came at a rather awkward time for the Congress, because within hours, the Gen Z of at least one city had spoken. The RSS's student body, ABVP, swept the Delhi University elections today, winning 3 out of 4 posts, with the Congress student wing, NSUI, managing to win only the vice president's post. Now, with the Congress promising to take its vote chori campaign up a notch, what happens? The BJP says the Congress leader is trying to provoke India's youth because everything else has failed. He has not managed to get success in any other way, so he wants an uprising. He wants to grab the throne through arms. But is there more to this than meets the eye?
को देश के संविधान के प्रति कोई आस्था नहीं है। अब तो उन्होंने अपने अर्बन माओइस्ट होने का सबूत ही दे दिया। अर्बन माओइस्टों वाली भाषा वो कर रहे हैं कि जेन ज़ी ने आकर संवैधानिक सरकार को उलट देना चाहिए। लेकिन इस भारत की जेन ज़ी जो है, ये भारत के संविधान में विश्वास रखती है। राहुल गांधी न जेन ज़ी को जानते हैं, न इस देश के युवाओं को जानते हैं।
राहुल गांधी जी अपोजिशन लीडर है, एक पार्टी के प्रमुख है। उनकी पार्टी बहुत सालों से इस देश में एज अ रूलिंग पार्टी के नाते कांग्रेस ने काम किया है। लोग डिसीजन लेते हैं किसको बिठाना, किस अपोजिशन में किसको बिठाना रूलिंग पार्टी में। अभी वो चुनाव हुआ है, अभी हार जाने के बाद ऐसा मैसेज देना बहुत गलत है।
जो अभी नेपाल और बांग्लादेश में हुआ है, जिसके साथ की राहुल गांधी अपने आप को जोड़ना चाहते हैं, दोनों जगह पर जेन जी क्या कह रहा है? हम परिवारवाद के खिलाफ हैं, परिवारवादी पार्टी के खिलाफ हैं। परिवारवाद कहां है? मोदी जी तो परिवारवादी नहीं है। जवाहरलाल नेहरू, इंदिरा गांधी, राजीव गांधी, सोनिया गांधी, इसके बाद राहुल गांधी, प्रियंका गांधी, उसके बाद प्रियंका गांधी जी के बेटे भी हो सकता है आ जाए। रॉबर्ट वड्रा साहब रोज कहते हैं कि मैं आंदोलन करना चाहता हूं, मैं चुनाव लड़ना चाहता हूं। तो जेन जी के आंदोलन को यदि वो उठाना चाहते हैं तो हम तो राहुल गांधी के साथ हैं। पूरी गांधी फैमिली देश छोड़ती हुई नजर आएगी।
आज अगर राहुल जी कह रहे हैं तो क्या गलत कह रहे हैं? आज देश की जो हालत है, देश के अंदर जिस तरह की अनार्की फैली हुई है, हिंदू मुसलमान नफरत, घृणा, धर्म, धार्मिक उन्माद, तो इसको देख के फिर लोकतंत्र खतरे में है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि आज किसी की हिम्मत नहीं है कि वो सरकार से, हुकूमत से, प्रधानमंत्री से सवाल कर सके। कोई पत्रकार बोल नहीं सकता है। तो ये स्थिति जो उत्पन्न हो रही है, ये खतरे की घंटी है, और इसको संभालने का काम आज की जो नौजवान पीढ़ी है वही कर सकते हैं।
उन्होंने युवाओं, छात्रों, सबका नाम लिया। जेनजेड तो मीडिया ने पकड़ लिया नेपाल सुन करके, मतलब उसके दूसरे शब्द भी हो सकते हैं। महत्वपूर्ण ये नहीं है कि उन्होंने कहा कौन रोकेंगे, भारत का लोकतंत्र रोकेगा। भाई बीमार पड़ गया है। ये एक ऐसा क्रिटिकल क्षण है हमारे लोकतंत्र के लिए कि अगर हमने सारी चीजें दुरुस्त नहीं की तो ये भरभरा के गिर जाएगा।
All I would do, Bhaiya, at this stage is I would request youth of India to add their voice to the lone voice of Rahul Gandhi.
And that brings us to the big questions on which the buck stops here. Is Rahul Gandhi's invocation of Gen Z a signal to insurrection. Is this a sign to send India down the road that Nepal saw a month ago? And is the appeal to Gen Z, but the target is Modi? Has the invocation that has been made to Gen Z already been answered by the Gen Z in Delhi itself? Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of BJP, joins us along with political analyst Tushar Gupta, Professor Naval Kishore, national spokesperson of the RJD, Ashutosh, political analyst. And my first question is to spokesperson of the Congress, Advocate Mahima Singh. Do you think that the Gen Z of Delhi, in Delhi University at least, is not happy to get on the streets? They want to vote for ABVP. Advocate Mahima Singh.
Jai Hind, I thought your debate is on a larger question that concerns the country, Padmaja. What happened in Delhi University today, of course, many congratulations to the newly elected president and vice president. One is from the ABVP, the other is from NSUI. So I would say that you see the university, the college elections.
And the secretary and the joint secretary are from ABVP. There are 4 posts. Congratulations, you won 1 out of 4.
Then what is the harm in acknowledging that the vice president is from the NSUI and the president is from the ABVP? So, you know, the office is going to be shared by the both. And university politics depends on many factors, Padmaja. But you know what has rattled the BJP today really, ahead of 2019 elections, Prime Minister Modi had actually invoked the young generation, the young population of our country, rather asserting that we are the youngest country across the globe, which is in fact true, and that is what Shri Rahul Gandhi is talking about today. The Honorable LOP has of course invoked Gen Z because that is where the future lies, that is where the hope lies. Unlike the BJP, which is only stuck in the past, which is why it is not acknowledging grave issues like unemployment, which has more than doubled in the past 11 years, stagnant wages, paper leave.
But why Gen Z? Because Gen Z in the recent past has been associated with the Nepal uprising.
Padmaja, are you going
Was this a reference to Nepal in any way?
Padmaja, if you are going to keep interjecting other spokespersons also, then it is all right if you do that with me. Because I
assure you.
This is what I rose, this is the issue I had raised on your last show as well. And on this show as well, I would say that please do not interject. If you ask a question, you have already interjected me thrice before letting me answer the question. Allow me to answer. Confer the basic dignity upon the guests you invite on your show. Now, you see unemployment, stagnant wages, paper leaks, lack of structured and accessible soft skills, training limits. The answer, they are limiting the employability. And copying the manifesto that the Congress party had brought ahead of 2024 elections is not the answer to all of that. The answer to all of that is a dialogue with Gen Z, which, of course, Rahul Gandhi ji is having on a day-to-day basis, which is why Amit Shah's Ghuspaitiya Bachao jibe in Bihar gravely failed when he called out from the stage, Rahul Gandhi ji kya karne aaye the, and the youth replies, vote chori ki baat karne. And the embarrassed home minister, his face, discolored absolutely. So I would say that, you are limiting your question towards me to just the DU elections. I would say the problems facing...
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Gen Z as a whole, which is why I was asking you the second question. Why Gen Z? Was Gen Z in any way related to what happened in Nepal? Because Gen Z in the recent past, in people's minds associated with Nepal, Gen Z at the forefront of Nepal uprising. Was it in any way a hat tip to Nepal?
That is if you decipher it in that manner, it is hats off to you and hats off to the BJP, and there's a resonance we can see there. And that is that resonance is what I talk about when I talk about your inclination and orientation. I would say that, what has happened in Nepal and Bangladesh is, of course...
anyone with half a brain, if you were to ask anyone walking on the road, what do you remember when I mention Gen Z to you, they will say Nepal. Now, I don't see what the inclination or orientation or prevarication is. You ask anyone Gen Z, they will say Nepal. I mean, everything doesn't have to be about my inclination or orientation. But fine, point taken.
Padmaja, are you trying to tell us that the term just came into reality, became real on, the term was coined on 8th of September? Before 8th of September, there was no term.
No, it wasn't. But in the current context, top of the mind recall is for what happened in Nepal. And I think you would also concede that. But point taken, Tuhin Sinha trying to make this seem as if, Rahul Gandhi is giving a call to arms is completely wrong. What Mahima Singh is saying is that all he said was the youth of this country now need to fight against you, now need to fight against vote chori. It's just the youth.
Well,
he also said Yuva. He didn't just say Gen Z.
Good evening, Padmisha. Good evening, everybody. The vote chori allegations of Rahul Gandhi are as phony, as farcical as his entire career has been in the last 21 years. And this was proved yesterday by none other than Rahul Gandhi himself, who within 6 hours of posting his first tweet in the morning yesterday, claiming that there was vote chori of 6,000 votes, immediately 6 hours later posted a correction. He fact-checked himself and said that this would have happened, but we prevented it from happening. Now, the fact is that the FIR relating to that was actually filed by Election Commission itself, and that happened.
No, but Tuhin Sinha, the Gen Z part. Listen, all day today. Hold on a second. Before we go back to that vote chori allegation, we've debated this yesterday. My point is, all day today, your party has been attacking Rahul Gandhi, saying Rahul Gandhi is trying to tell the youth of our country to take up arms. Rahul Gandhi is instigating youth of our country. Mahima Singh is saying that he's not. He's just talking about the youth and saying fight against what is wrong.
The vote chori thing was conclusively settled yesterday. The issue today is the vile and nefarious intent of Rahul Gandhi. Yesterday evening, when he tried to instigate with, the Gen Z with a very clear insinuation, we all know that Gen Z had a Nepal connect. He has been fantasizing a Nepal-like, Bangladesh-like revolt for a very long time. And today, the youth of the country, the youth of at least Delhi University have given him a fitting reply. He is completely disconnected with the aspirations of the youth. The youth do not want failed diners to display a very perverse sense of entitlement. They hate corrupt people. They hate people who divide people on the basis of caste. And unless Rahul Gandhi gets this message, he will keep coming up with concocted narratives which don't gel, which don't connect with the youth of the country. Not only over here, time and again, if he just follows the pattern.
Do you think this is a call to anarchy? Two very different interpretations of Gen Z. Congress says nothing wrong. BJP is saying you are asking the youth to travel on the path of anarchy.
You asking me?
Yes, Ashutosh ji.
I think it's a very complicated question, but I got a very simple answer to this. I think Mr. Amit Shah must have some information from the ground. That is why in the month of July, he has ordered the Bureau of Police Research and Development to investigate all public agitation since 1974 to understand why these protests happen, how they could be controlled. Information has leaked out only in the month of September. So that means government must be sensing something on the ground, some discontent, some kind of disillusionment with the government. That's why he's gone to that extent. See, I think this is very, very important. And I'm really worried about the BJP leaders. Are they losing trust and hope with Mr. Narendra Modi? That Rahul Gandhi has become so powerful that tomorrow he has become so powerful that he will lead Gen Z to revolt against the Modi government and create situations like Nepal, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. I think if he had become that powerful and the government is so scared of him, then only God can save this government. See, the issue is the BJP should trust their leader. BJP should understand. I think the biggest enemy of BJP is leaders like Nishikant Dubey and all, who's unnecessarily trying to create a situation, unnecessarily trying to make Rahul Gandhi much bigger than what he is today. See, why they are talking about in this language? They should have a trust in Indian democracy. They should have trust in their leadership. They should have trust in the BJP and their cadre. They should have trust in the media power which they have.
Point. Are you so scared of Rahul Gandhi that one word from Rahul Gandhi, Gen Z will come on the streets? You seem to be more scared, says Ashutosh.
Imagine a leader of opposition whose shelf life of his propaganda is a mere 30 minutes or 1 hour. Imagine a leader of opposition who before the start of his press conference has to repeatedly profess that, I love my country, I stand to strengthen democracy, and then In the middle of that press conference, he's the one who shrugs off his responsibility and says it's not my job to save the democracy. Such a person is laden with nefarious and vile intent. And by the way, last month, it was the Supreme Court which passed some very scathing remarks against the BLAs, block-level agents of Congress Party, not just the youth. Every which way the Congress Party has been using its resources against the country. The BLAs of the Congress Party, instead of helping the voters, were manufacturing concocted stories like Ranju Devi, like Minta Devi, and misleading the people of the country. So Rahul Gandhi will never succeed, but that does not stop a Duryodhan from attempting to wreck the Pandava dynasty.
Okay, Rahul Gandhi is Duryodhan now. Ashutosh, Rahul Gandhi is Duryodhan. He must be stopped in his tracks.
I really like the rant which the Tuhen has come out. What is the issue? What is the issue at the point? The issue is that Rahul Gandhi has raised certain question about the proprietary and impropriety of the electoral process. Election Commission is not answering those questions, or instead of answering the questions, BJP is jumping the queue and defending Election Commission. Now it is raising the doubts in the minds of the people why BJP is defending Election Commission so vehemently when the matter is between Election Commission and Rahul Gandhi. And instead of believing their own leadership, they believe that Rahul Gandhi is so powerful that he can create a revolt, a revolution like. See, please understand this. BJP has to answer many questions. In mid-70s, when Jayaprakash Narayan said कि आप पुलिस वाले और सेना सरकार के आदेशों को मत मानो, was that anti-national act supported by RSS and Jan Sangh then? Has Rahul Gandhi said something like this on this ground? Listen to this. They created a situation where the mob attacked Babri Masjid and demolished it, and Supreme Court called it a criminal act. Now the same BJP has suddenly realized that Rahul Gandhi has become so powerful he can create a situation like that. First of all, they should understand that Indian democracy is not so weak.
Just 20 seconds, Padmaja.
Okay. Tuhin Sena, 20 seconds, then Tushar Gupta. So if Rahul Gandhi today is telling the youth, is mobilizing the youth, you can't call him an anarchist.
No, Ashutoshi, Rahul Gandhi has two easy options. Either he takes the legal route, which he will not because he has had to apologize to the courts publicly at least on 5 occasions, or he signs the declaration form which the Election Commission has been exhorting him to sign in the last 1 month. He will again not do that because that again, a false statement on at that end is punishable under the PNS 2023. So Rahul Gandhi is a master of deception, and such a person is a threat to democracy. But yes, he's incapable of doing anything beyond that. He cannot do a revolt like Nepal or Bangladesh because the people don't support a master of deception.
Padmaja,
okay, but here's the thing. Here's the dilemma. Tushar Gupta, just a second. Here's the dilemma. Either you decide, no, in this 20-10 seconds, poor Tushar Gupta and Professor Saab will keep sitting there. Either the BJP decides that Rahul Gandhi has no impact, he is discredited, nobody listens to him, or he has so much impact that he just writes Gen Z in one tweet and India turns into Nepal. Now people have to make up their minds. What is Rahul Gandhi really? The JP of 2025 or a nobody?
No, Rahul Gandhi is a nobody. I'll tell you, because we were discussing the context of Gen Z in the starting of the debate. Let me tell you the number of times Rahul Gandhi on his Twitter account has mentioned Gen Z apart from yesterday. A golden duck. Never before on his very active Twitter account has he mentioned Gen Z. It was only yesterday. So the context is very clear. But does Rahul Gandhi think he can actually create a revolt or a Nepal-like situation of sorts? He might believe so. He lives in a make-believe world where he's told that social media views amount for some sort of resonance. But in reality, he cannot. The state capacity is formidable. Rahul Gandhi's own grandmother gave numerous demonstrations about how formidable the state capacity is. So Rahul Gandhi either is not taking that lesson he needs to take from history, or he lives in this Delilulu world, as the Gen Z calls it, where he believes he can do anything and the people will go along with him. But the election results of Delhi University prove us otherwise. Now, you have to look at the timing also of the Delhi University elections. They happened a week after the entire anarchist revolt in Nepal. people who were genuinely yearning for a change, they would have made their voices heard in Delhi University. They did not. They have rejected the Congress downright. Number 3, Padmaja, I don't get this point where this fictitious resonance for Rahul Gandhi comes from. I was a first-time voter in 2014. I am a 90s kid. For 10 years now, I haven't been able to resonate with Rahul Gandhi, and this is before I got into this field. I have a lot of friends who for the last 15 years haven't been able to resonate with Rahul Gandhi. He goes to Madhya Pradesh. He says, Jitni abadi utna haq. People don't resonate with it. He talks about caste census economic mapping. People don't resonate with it. He talks about economy being dead. People don't resonate with it. He talks about Swachh Bharat being dead. People do not resonate with it. And coming to the trust part finally, a man who says America and Europe should interfere in our democracy, a man who states India is the union of states, it's a negotiation, a man who says my fight is against the state, a man who says that I'm not here to protect democracy, how can anyone trust that man, let alone BJP? How can the citizens trust Rahul Gandhi?
Mahima Singh responding.
Well, what the citizens think about Rahul Gandhi was shown in the last Lok Sabha elections, Padmaja, when he won 2 Lok Sabha seats by more than a margin of 4 lakhs each. So that is the answer to the BJP spokesperson and their supporters sitting on the show.
I must respond.
I must say, Padmaja, that you see, they're talking
Mahima ji,
about
since you have quoted the 2024 election results, I think at this point I have to show you the post-poll survey that was done by CSDS Lokniti, which was actually done among Gen Z. What is Gen Z? People who are up to 25 years or are in the age group of 26 to 35 years. Which party did Gen Z actually vote for? Ma'am, this is a survey. This is not my or any party's result. This is a post-poll survey that found that Congress got 21% votes of up to 25-year voters and the BJP got 39%. The NDA got almost double of what your alliance got. Among 26 to 35-year-old voters, again, the BJP got double of what the Congress got. That's what Gen Z voted for in 2024. BJP and NDA. This is a post-poll survey.
Firstly, for once, can you outdo yourself and not interject me at least for once? And secondly, I was answering the question that Rahul Gandhi is a nobody, number one. And I was answering the question, the impact that Rahul Gandhi holds on the populace of this country. Suddenly you shift the goalpost and you take it to the analysis after 2024 election. Can you refute the fact that he won 2 constituencies?
That's because you mentioned the 24 elections and he won 2 seats. I wasn't shifting the goalpost, just putting it out there. This wasn't shifting of a goalpost. This was literally standing in your goalpost.
There you go again. Prime Minister Modi won hardly by 1 lakh. That too after the counting stopped for 6 hours outside. Rahul Gandhi ji won his 2 constituency by more than 4 lakhs.
But what does this have to do with Gen Z?
The likes of the political analysts sitting on your show, because they cannot digest the fact that the BJP's leaders are coming out.
Padmaja, please, can I?
They are the ones who cannot look to the future.
Gen Z gave Congress 99 seats. Gen Z gave Congress 99 seats.
That are instigating rather than
you are talking about Delhi University results. Gen Z gave Rahul Gandhi 2 seats, gave the Congress 99 seats. Tushar Gupta.
Can you deny the fact that
Rahul Gandhi 2 seats to win from? One that has been held by his family for decades, and one where he won because of the minority vote. But I must thank Mahima Singh from the bottom of my heart, because she's proven the point I'm trying to make about this delusion, this illusion the Congress lives in. They are happy that Congress got 99 seats and the BJP got 240 seats. But does the Congress realize the last time they got more than 240 seats in the Lok Sabha was actually in 1984? Almost 40 years ago. BJP's worst tally in the last 3 Lok Sabha elections is what Congress managed almost 40 years ago. And I don't know what Congress is celebrating. And again, the point remains, if Rahul Gandhi's 99 seats meant so much, what happened in Haryana? What happened in Maharashtra? What happened in Delhi?
Observe yourself and see that you do not interject anybody.
Okay, let's not go off on that tangent. Since we are talking about Gen Z, I think it will be very important to Professor Naval Kishore, who is from the RJD, because his party leader is literally the face of Gen Z in Bihar. Professor Naval Kishore, since you're also a professor, your party leader is also Gen Z. Is Gen Z coming on streets or not against vote chori?
You must have seen the Voter Adhikar Yatra, and now Bihar Adhikar Yatra is going on. You can see how huge amount of people are coming, and most of them are Gen Z. You can see on the street what is the response of Gen Z in Bihar. The point which is being made that the latest voter will have answer to all kind of vote chori that is being organized by Election Commission, supported by this government, and that is the point which Rahul Gandhi is trying to make. You are referring to Delhi University. You know, last time who won? Last time it was NSUI which won. This time also
Vice President of the
NSUI taken by NSUI. Delhi University election is something else. It is not controlled by BJP. It is controlled by those who are not student of the part of Delhi University. All government institutes, all government, all RSS, everyone is involved in that kind of election. And it is because of that. If you leave it to the students, they will never vote for BJP. Why will they vote? They have taken new education policy, which is equal to no education policy. You just go and see the state of education in the university is next to anarchy. Nobody knows what to teach and how to teach and what is there. Everything is in a chaotic state. So that is the fact.
प्रोफेसर साहब आपने थोड़ा सा सेल्फ गोल कर दिया. आपने शुरुआत में बोला कि देखो पिछली बार एनएसयूआई जीती थी, इस बार भी एनएसयूआई वाइस प्रेसिडेंट जीती है. फिर आपने कहा कि यहाँ पे इलेक्शन ही रद्दी है, इलेक्शन यहाँ पे आरएसएस करवाती है, इसीलिए इसका कुछ होता नहीं, पूरी अनार्की है, बाहर से इंटरफेरेंस होता है. तो या तो आप डिसाइड कर लीजिए कि ये फेयर इलेक्शन हो रहा है जो एनएसयूआई भी जीत रही है, पिछली बार जीती थी, या फिर पूरा आरएसएस बीजेपी सरकार कंट्रोल करती है उसको. दोनों तो चीजें सही हो नहीं सकती.
देखिए जीत, अरे पद्मजा जी आप बात तो समझते नहीं हैं, आप अपने हिसाब से इंटरप्रिटेशन करते हैं. मैं कह रहा हूं तो दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के चुनाव में जो फैक्टर वहां पे इंपॉर्टेंट है वो भी आपको देखना चाहिए. आपको ये बताना चाहिए कि वहां पर क्या हो रहा है. सिर्फ जीतना और हारने के आधार पे आप उसको
इंटरलिंक छोड़िए. दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी छोटा चुनाव है, आप बिहार चुनाव की बात कीजिए. 2020 के बिहार चुनाव की अगर बात करते हैं, क्या आपको लगता है वहां वोट चोरी हुई? और उसको लेकर के, क्योंकि आपका बहुत बड़ा वोटर बेस जो है वो युवाओं का होता है. बार बार तेजस्वी यादव कहते हैं कि भाई युवाओं को बिहार का जो भविष्य है वो बदलना चाहिए, मैं युवाओं को नौकरी दूंगा. तो आपके लिए तो ये बहुत रेलेवेंट है. तो आप चाहते हैं कि जेनजी सड़कों पर आए, और आपको लगता है कि क्या वोट चोरी हो रही है जिसके खिलाफ जेनजी सड़कों पर आएगा?
नहीं देखिए, आप पता नहीं, आश्चर्यजनक बात है कि आपको नहीं मालूम है कि 2020 के चुनाव में इन्होंने वोटर चोरी नहीं, उन्होंने विधायक चोरी की. 12 सीट उन्होंने हरा दिया और इसी कारण से हम लोग हार गए. अदरवाइज तो सरकार हमारी बनी गई थी. ये कौन नहीं जानता है? बिहार ही नहीं पूरा देश जानता है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी इलेक्शन कमीशन के साथ मिलकर पिछले बार आरजेडी और महागठबंधन की सरकार नहीं बनने दी. और ये सही बात है. जेनजी और वोटर, टोटल वोटर ऑफ बिहार वेयर इन फेवर ऑफ अस. उतना बेईमानी करने के बावजूद भी मात्र 12,000 वोट का अंतर था. ये तो पूरा देश जानता है. चोरी करना रुकेगा बिहार में.
Very interesting that you again say that 2020 vote chori happened because Professor Saab, you know it better than anyone that the RJD posted its greatest ever performance. In the last 20 years, you were the single largest party at 75. You had your highest vote share at 23.11%. And not just that, there were at least 50 seats which were won by a very slim margin, and you won 27 of those seats. 27 seats which were won by a margin of less than 10% went to the RJD. So you had your best performance and you're still saying vote चोरी हुई, युवा सड़कों पे आ जाएंगे.
Yeah, that is truth. Should I stop talking truth? The BJP has been trying, even now they are trying. Last election also, you know how 400 claim came down to 240. You did not discuss that the charisma of Narendra Modi has gone. And in order to put the aftermath, they went for vote chori in Maharashtra and Haryana. Who do not know that? So what is the real point?
It's interesting you mention about the charisma. I think it's important to show you another statistic the comparison between 2019 and 2024, actually the amount of youth vote that has gone to the BJP hasn't decreased at all. It has remained absolutely static at about 40%. In 2019 and 2024, there was a difference of only 1% in the number of youth votes, 25-year-olds and 35 to 39-year-olds that voted for the BJP. So 40% youth almost over the last 10 years have consistently voted for the BJP, Professor Saab. Please answer this and then I want to go back to our other guests.
पद्मजा जी यही, पद्मजा जी बस 10 सेकंड, पद्मजा जी 10 सेकंड, यही तो आश्चर्यजनक है कि जो सरकार 11 साल में 22 करोड़ नौकरी देनी चाहिए, उसने नौकरी नहीं दिया, बेरोजगार किया, फिर भी उसको यूथ वोट करने, ये कौन विश्वास करेगा? यहीं से तो डाउट की शुरुआत होती है कि आप ठग ही नहीं रहे हो, आप चोरी भी कर रहे हो। जो ठगी आप करते हो तो सामने दिखता है, चोरी है जो दिख नहीं पाता है, वो पकड़ नहीं पाता है। जब लोग पकड़ते हैं तो आप इधर उधर घुमाते हो, गोल पोस्ट चेंज करते हो। इटे अब जो है सही बात सबको पता चल गई है कि वोट चोरी में संस्थाओं के साथ साथ ये सरकार भी शामिल है, और यही सबसे चिंता का विषय है। यही बात राहुल गांधी भी कह रहे हैं।
This has to be the most amazing vote chori, where the youth vote stays with the BJP, but single largest party emerges, the RJD emerges as the single largest party. This has to be the most counterproductive vote chori on the planet. But Tuhin Sinha, at least the momentum, the opposition is building up the momentum, and they are saying this is one particular group which is upset, which is going to rise up against you, and now they are exhorting this particular subset because there is discontent.
नौकरी भी नहीं है, रोजगार नहीं है,
नौकरी भी नहीं है, तो इनसे
वित्त मंत्री बिहार में आके झूठ बोलती है, 19 लाख नौकरी देंगे, कहां दिया उन्होंने?
In their zest is actually going to confess that they are the ones indulging in vote chori. In 2014, the vote share of Congress party was at its lowest, 23% in the entire Lok Sabha elections. Today, in 2024, it went up to 41%, which is the highest, and yet they say vote chori is happening. In Alam,
you are part of bunch of liars.
Please hang on. In 2000, in Alam, which they had not won since 1989, won after 35 years, yet they claim vote chori. You know, I think this very soon they are going to confess that they are the ones who have been tampering with voters. Very soon they will confess that. But today, yes, the youth is on the street.
And you will keep on defending election commission.
Please.
When election commission is caught behind the ticket, you will start defending election commission.
Today,
this is the truth about
the youth is on the street today, but performing Seva. For the first time, the youth is participating in Seva Pakhada. They are donating blood. They are taking part in Swachh Bharat campaign in a big way, which they can't see. They don't
and
relate.
The BJP is responsible for that.
The aspirations of youth. And Rahul Gandhi today is only by virtue of what he has done on the issue of vote chori in the last 6 weeks or so. Rahul Gandhi today is an amplified, a glorified version of Sharjeel Imam. His statements are bordered on sedition. His statements are bordered on sedition, and I think it is about time he realizes that he needs to give a little more responsibility.
I wish to make a very technical point, Padmaja. I wish to make a very technical point, Padmaja, because we are talking about vote chori now. Rahul Gandhi's presser yesterday was very, very important. He said that an attempt was made to delete 6,000 votes from the booths where Congress always wins.
Government
now,
has asked
he also cited that the BLOs and the BLS... Mr. Kishore, quiet, Mr. Kishore. I'm addressing the larger point here. I heard you. You hear me also.
You talk on the point. No, you are talking nonsense. You do not have any point.
Mr.
You are
Kishore, I will take points from an RJD fellow
false and lies.
What is sense and what is nonsensical.
You don't deserve to be.
Okay, 10 seconds, please.
Keep
10 seconds, please. We'll descend into,
please the BJP. You are agent of BJP.
Okay, 10 seconds, please.
BJP. You don't.
30 seconds, Tushar Gupta, make your point. I want to bring in Ashutosh and Mahima Singh there. 30 seconds, make your point, Tushar Gupta.
Rahul Gandhi yesterday in his presser addressed the point that large-scale deletion of voters will be caught by the BLOs and the BLAs as it was in Karnataka. That was the point everyone was making after his first presser, that the electoral process is such, the electoral rolls are prepared in such a manner that any large-scale omission or inclusion of electors will be noticed by the BLOs BLOs and the BLAs. Rahul Gandhi essentially was disproving what Rahul Gandhi said in his very first presser.
Okay, I again want to steer this back to what has been said about Gen Z, and the point was made earlier, Ashutosh, when Tushar Gupta said, hold on a second, he said that all this while we today may say it is very innocent, but Gen Z has never been mentioned earlier by the leader of opposition. Has this deliberately been brought in? And why I keep asking this again and again is because politics will keep happening, governments will come and go, but once we get a mob on the street, there is no walking back from that. Are we opening the gates for rule of the mob? And is this a dangerous brand of politics on which we are opening the gates? Ashutosh.
Padmaja, first of all, let me remind my friend Tuhin Sinha that I would love that the Gen Z would like Tuhin Sinha to be the Prime Minister of the country that led by 75 plus years. Narendra Modi, or 74 years old Nitish Kumar, or 75 plus Mohan Bhagwat. See, when technology is changing so fast, that latest iPhone is getting obsolete in 6 months' time. We got a leader who is leading the country who is 75 plus. Now, that has to be decided, that has to be understood, that why there is a disconnect happening between the BJP leadership and the Gen Z. Why I'm saying so? Because the leadership was so out of touch with the reality that when the Pahalgam happened, Operation Sindoor, India was basically rejected by Americans and the Chinese both. We were isolated. And it was so tragic and ironical that when Lieutenant General Rahul Singh said that on the border we are facing two enemies, Chinese and the Pakistanis, India humiliatingly has to go to China to get on their side. So if the leadership is so out of touch, I think we have to understand this. The country will prefer to have a leader in 30s or 40s or in 50s, not in 75s, 80s when technology
is changing so fast. If the leadership is out of touch, then the people will vote them out. You don't ask Gen Z to come on the streets. Whoever has been out of touch, whoever has been rejected by the people, it happens at the ballot, sir. It will not happen through Gen Z or through Gen Y.
No. Padmaja, let me add this. I think 2024 election is a warning signal to the Prime Minister. Second point, not me. Even the Panchijan has written 3 years back that elections are not won in the face of Narendra Modi. Third point I would like to make. It is so simple, and one has to understand this, that why there is so much problem, that this is the mob which demolished Babri Masjid, or it is the mob which demolished Indira Gandhi's regime in 77. It is mob led by Gandhi which got India freedom. Why are we so worried about the mob? Is it because we want to create a dictatorship in the country? We want to create
no, but there is a difference between a mob. You cannot say what had happened in Nepal in any way can be compared to the Andolan that was led by JP.
So
that was an Andolan. What happened in Ramlila Maidan, you may disagree with it, but at the end of the day, that was an Andolan. What Gandhiji did was an Andolan. It happened peacefully. It was a peaceful movement.
Tell me one thing.
But when you say, get on the streets and fight, that's a mob.
Tell me one thing. On 16th December 1992, was it mob or was it agitation? Who will decide this? Supreme Court has categorically said it's a criminal act.
It started as an agitation. The Ram Mandir movement was an agitation. The Rath Yatra was an agitation. But what happened was a mob, and it has been recorded by the Supreme Court. The people who are accused are also unnamed people who were part of that mob, and sir, you know that. It's there in the Supreme Court judgment as well.
Means BJP is really worried that the Gen Z has no trust with the present leadership. That's why they assume that the mob will come on the street and the similar things happen in India as it happened in Nepal. If that is the reality, that is what BJP is
I will leave it at
understanding.
that. Is it a trust deficit with the leadership right now? Or is there a trust deficit in the opposition? Or is the opposition losing trust in the democratic process, which is why they have to appeal to somebody outside of the process, which is the nameless, faceless Gen Z? Thanks very much, all gentlemen, and Mahima Singh for joining me. On a parting lighter note, though, I have to say that Ashutosh ji, you look the most representative of Gen Z today with your very snazzy shirt. On that note, I'm going to thank you all. Remember, Today, the Gen Z of India is being exhorted to fight vote chori and save the constitution. Sure, Gen Z must fight the good fight, but is it a fight at all, or are you being asked to fight someone else's political battle? So Gen Z, listen to this. First, in his vote chori press conference, Rahul Gandhi said that votes were deleted in the Aland seat of Karnataka in a targeted fashion. He said that maximum deletions have taken place inside Congress strongholds, giving the impression that at least a few thousand voters would have been removed from the rolls across the top 10 polling booths that he mentioned. That's wrong. The fact is that in 2023, only 24 votes were actually deleted. The Karnataka Chief Election Officer has made it clear that 6,018 Form 7 applications were received for deletion, but the EC got suspicious, checked their veracity, and rejected 5,994 incorrect applications. And yes, people will try and tell you that the Congress only said an attempt was made. That is not true. In multiple places by Rahul Gandhi and by Congress leaders, the claim of actual deletions has been made repeatedly, as well as on Congress social media handles. Now let's come to the logic being offered for these deletions, this vote chori. The Congress said that in Aland, votes were stolen in order to make it lose. The fact is that Congress not only won this seat, but they won it after a gap of 34 years. It's nothing short of a miracle. They won it for the first time in 34 years in 2023 after this alleged vote chori. Then logically, the suspicion should be falling on the Congress for chori, shouldn't it? Third is the simple case of legal recourse. A CID probe was initiated in 2023 itself in Karnataka into these allegations. At that time, by the way, the BJP was in power in the state, which means that they started the investigation. Since then, the AC claims it has shared all required material, which the Congress denies. Even if that is true, even if the EC hasn't shared material with the CID, what would be the next logical step? The courts, isn't it? And this week itself, the efficacy of such a step has been proven. Look at the case of 2 seats in the same 2023 Karnataka Assembly elections. The Congress alleged problems in Aland, the BJP alleged problems in Melur. But the difference is that the BJP went to the Karnataka High Court with its complaint against the outcome in Melur, with the result that on the 16th of September, the Karnataka High Court ruled in the BJP's favor and put the election result on hold in Melur. The Congress could have achieved the same in Aland if they think that the result there is suspect, and if they think that the CID probe is being stonewalled. Wouldn't going to court be the only logical step? This is as far as logic and facts are concerned. Now, I can predict to you that the number one foolish response to this from the usual suspects will be, why is the media defending the Election Commission? To this stupidity, there can be no answer except that facts talk for themselves. But to you, Gen Z, you know better. And when you do make up your mind, you deserve to know all of these facts.